Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I'm Tina Jha. Before I take you through what made news during the day and appeal to all our viewers, the country is going through a massive second wave of the coronavirus pandemic. Cases are rapidly rising and our health system is under tremendous pressure. So in the current situation, it is all the more important for all of us to take necessary precautions and prevent ourselves from the infection. We have to go back to the basics, that is, wear your face masks, wash your hands and face regularly. If you can stay at home, stay at home. But if you have to step out, ensure physical distancing. Maintaining COVID-appropriate behavior can save us and our families from being infected. And now the top stories of the day. All adults eligible for COVID-19 vaccine from the 1st of May. Government announces accelerated phase 3 strategy of coronavirus vaccination. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal imposes 6-day lockdown in Delhi from 10 p.m. tonight as coronavirus cases surge in the national capital. Only essential services to continue till 5 a.m. on the 26th of April. Shops, malls, cinema halls to remain shut. India records over 2 lakh cases for the 5th consecutive day. More than 12 crore people vaccinated in the country against coronavirus so far. The centre to announce new insurance scheme for COVID warriors. Government working to save lives and livelihood. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman tells India Inc. seeks feedback from business leaders to deal with impact of second COVID wave on economy. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla chairs a meeting with presiding officers to discuss the COVID-19 situation. And campaigning ends for the 6th phase polling in West Bengal. 43 assembly seats spread over 4 districts to vote on the 22nd of April. The Election Commission curtails campaign time in view of rising cases. The biggest story of the day today, the government has announced liberalised and accelerated phase 3 strategy of COVID-19 vaccination from the 1st of May, from when everyone above the age of 18 years will be eligible to get COVID-19 vaccine. The decision was taken after Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a series of meetings amid a steep rise in COVID cases in the country. The Prime Minister interacted with leading doctors and top pharma companies on the prevailing situation. And after the meeting, in a statement, the government said pricing, procurement, eligibility and administration of vaccine is being made flexible in phase 3 of the ongoing vaccination drive. The states will be empowered to procure additional vaccine doses directly from the manufacturers, as well as open up vaccination to any category of people above the age of 18 for the same. Vaccine manufacturers will be allowed to release up to 50% of their supply to the state governments and in the open market at a pre-declared price. So far, the government had allowed vaccinations only for healthcare workers, the frontline workers, and those above the age of 45. The cumulative number of COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country has crossed 12 crore 38 lakh as part of the world's largest vaccination drive against coronavirus. Over 12 lakh vaccination doses were administered in the last 24 hours. Amid the rapid surge in coronavirus cases in Delhi, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal announced a 6-day lockdown in the national capital from 10 p.m. tonight to 5 a.m. next Monday. Arvind Kejriwal said the move was necessary as rising COVID cases had severely strained the city's resources and stretched the city's health system to its limits. Addressing a press conference virtually, the Chief Minister of Delhi said the lockdown is needed to prevent the health system from collapsing under the increasing number of patients, as there is an acute shortage of medicines, beds, ICUs, and also oxygen. Noting that the decision to impose lockdown was not an easy one, Kejriwal appealed to migrants in the city not to leave Delhi.
हमारा हेल्थ सिस्टम अब बहुत ज़्यादा तनाव में है। मैं ये नहीं कहूँगा कि हमारा हेल्थ सिस्टम अभी कोलैप्स किया है, लेकिन आज हमारा हेल्थ सिस्टम बहुत ज़्यादा तनाव में है। तो आज रात को 10 बजे से अगले सोमवार को सुबह 5 बजे तक 6 दिन के लिए दिल्ली में लॉकडाउन लगाया जा रहा है। इस दौरान जाहिर है कि जो एसेंशियल सर्विसेज हैं वो जारी रहेंगी, खाने पीने की, मेडिकल व्यवस्थाओं की वो जारी रहेंगी। ये शादियों का सीजन है, लोगों के बड़े मुश्किल से रिश्ते बनते हैं, हम उनके रिश्ते तोड़ना नहीं चाहते, तो लोगों की शादियां संपन्न हों, लेकिन केवल 50 लोगों के गैदरिंग के साथ संपन्न हो। पिछली बार जब देश में लॉकडाउन लगा था, हमने देखा कि किस तरह बड़ी संख्या में प्रवासी मजदूर अपने गांव जाने लगे थे। उनसे मैं खास तौर से हाथ जोड़ के अपील करना चाहता हूं, ये छोटा सा लॉकडाउन है, 6 दिन का, दिल्ली छोड़ के मत जाइएगा।
During the nearly week-long restrictions, only essential services will be allowed, which means medical shops, groceries and hospitals will remain open. Pregnant women and patients going for medical services will be allowed. People going for COVID-19 testing or vaccination are also exempt on the production of a valid I-card. Those going to airports, railway stations, bus terminals have also been allowed movement, but they too have to show a valid ticket. Electronic and print media persons have also been exempted from the restrictions, but private offices and other establishments like shops, malls, manufacturing units, educational institutes, cinema halls, restaurants, bars, public parks, gyms and salons will remain closed. Delhi is the worst hit city in the country, with 25,500 fresh cases reported on Sunday and almost 1/3 of those tested returning positive. Meanwhile, the DRDO reopened its COVID hospital in Delhi Cant area to deal with the massive spike in infections in the city. The facility is now functional with 250 beds and will be upgraded to 500 beds in the coming days. India reported its highest ever single-day spike of COVID cases and more than 1,600 deaths in the last 24 hours. The states reported a record high of 273,810 infections on Monday morning, the 5th consecutive day of more than 2 lakh cases from across the country. Maharashtra reported the highest daily new cases at 68,631, followed by Uttar Pradesh with 30,566 cases, while Delhi reported 25,462 new cases. India's total active case load has now reached 19,29,000 and comprises 12.81% of the country's total infections. Talking about recoveries, 1,44,000 recoveries have also been registered in the last 24 hours, while a total of 1,600 deaths were reported in a span of 24 hours. 10 states account for 85.11% of the new deaths, according to the Union Health Ministry. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said she has taken inputs from various industry chambers on concerns of India Inc. with regard to the management of the COVID pandemic. She added that the centre would continue to work with state governments to save lives and livelihood. She sought feedback from businesses to deal with the impact of the second COVID-19 wave on the country's economy. The finance minister held interactions with heads of industry chambers, including the president of CII, the FICCI president, and also the ASSOCHAM chief. India has barred the supply of oxygen to many industries to meet the rising demand from hospitals, which are under tremendous pressure from a surge in COVID infections in the country. The decision will be effective from the 22nd of April. In a letter sent to Chief Secretaries of all states, Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla asked them to take all measures to prohibit supply of oxygen for industrial purposes except those exempted. The Union Health Ministry, meanwhile, has informed that 162 pressure swing absorption oxygen plants have been sanctioned by the centre for installation in public health facilities in all states of the country. These will augment medical oxygen capacity by 154 metric tons. The Railways has also said it will run oxygen express trains over the next few days to transport liquid medical oxygen and oxygen cylinders across the country.
रेल मंत्रालय ने अब ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर्स अथवा टैंकर्स को रेलवे के द्वारा पहुंचाने का काम भी शुरू करने का निर्णय ले लिया है। सिलेंडर्स तो तुरंत शुरू कर दिए गए। जिस राज्य को अपने सिलेंडर्स रेल द्वारा पहुंचाने हो दूसरी जगह तक या लाने हो कोई दूर दराज की जगह से, रेलवे तुरंत उसको उपलब्ध कराएगी और ग्रीन कॉरिडोर से उन ट्रेनों को चलाया जाए बिना कोई रोक के। हाई स्पीड पे ये फ्रेट ट्रेन्स को अपने गंतव्य स्थान तक पहुंचाया जाए।
And Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla held a virtual meeting of presiding officers of the state assemblies on Monday to discuss the COVID-19 situation in the country and the role of the public representatives. Addressing the meet, the Speaker said, to contain the spread of COVID-19, we all need to work in tandem and on a war footing. He added that in these tough times, it is the responsibility of all presiding officers and leaders to stand by people. Om Birla further said, through public representatives of our respective states, we need to spread awareness among people to follow all COVID protocols. He also stated that we need to send the message that observance of precautions is the biggest weapon in the fight against this pandemic.
SOP बनाए। संकट की इस घड़ी में विधायिका को भी और अधिक तत्परता से अपने कर्तव्य को निभाना है। मेरा मानना है कि कोरोना के प्रसार को रोकने के लिए हम सबको सामूहिक रूप से युद्ध स्तर पर काम करने की आवश्यकता है। साथियों, लोकतंत्र में जनप्रतिनिधियों की भूमिका बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण होती है। हम जनता और सरकार के बीच सेतु का कार्य करते हैं। आज समय है कि हम पूरी एकजुटता और सामूहिकता की भावना से अपने कर्तव्यों का पालन करें तथा समाज और देश को इस आपदा से शीघ्र मुक्ति दिलाने में अपना योगदान दें।
The Union Health Ministry announced on Monday that all claims of COVID warriors under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package will be settled till the 24th of April, after which a fresh insurance policy for them will become effective. In a Twitter message, the ministry said that a new dispensation will be provided to cover the corona warriors. For this, the ministry is in talks with the New India Assurance. The scheme, which provides an insurance cover of 50 lakh rupees, was announced in March last year to provide a safety net to the health workers of the country. The scheme has also provided a safety net to the dependents of the coronavirus warriors who lost their lives to the disease in the past 1 year. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has cancelled his planned visit to India next week due to the coronavirus situation in the country. Johnson will now hold the meeting virtually with Prime Minister Modi later this month to launch their plans for the future UK-India partnership. Both sides were to agree on a roadmap 2030 for re-energized India-UK relations across trade and investment and climate action, which is now likely to be signed off remotely. The statement was released by Downing Street on behalf of the British and Indian governments. Time for a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. On a 3-day visit to Abu Dhabi, External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar held talks with his UAE counterpart Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan on Monday. The two leaders discussed the entire gamut of bilateral relations with a strong focus on economic recovery post-COVID-19. They also deliberated on the latest COVID-19 developments, the two countries' efforts to contain its repercussions, and the global efforts to provide vaccine to all countries. And news now from poll-bound Bengal. Campaigning for the 6th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal ended on Monday evening. In view of rising cases of COVID-19, the Election Commission has decided to curtail the campaign timing for the remaining 3 phases of the 8-phase assembly elections in the state. During the 6th phase, a total of 306 candidates will be vying for the 43 assembly seats spread over 4 districts. Polling will be held on the 22nd of April. The ruling Trinamool Congress and the BJP are contesting on all 43 seats, while the CPIM is contesting on 23 seats, the Congress on 12. The counting of votes will take place on the 2nd of May. Polling for the 2nd phase of Panchayat elections in 20 districts of Uttar Pradesh ended on Monday. Voting, which began at 7 a.m., concluded at 6 p.m. Strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocol during the polling was issued by the State Election Commission amid growing cases of coronavirus in the state. The districts which went to polls included Lucknow, Varanasi, Azamgarh, Etawah, Chitrakoot, Bagpat, Muzaffarnagar, Gautam Budh Nagar, Bijnor, Amroha, Badaयूं, Etah, Mainpuri, Kannauj, Lalitpur, Pratapgarh, Sultanpur, Lakhimpur Kheri, Gonda and Maharajganj. The Uttar Pradesh Panchayat elections were held in 4 phases. Voting will take place on the 26th of April and the 29th of April for the next 2 phases that are remaining. The votes will be counted on the 2nd of May. NASA successfully flew its tiny helicopter Ingenuity on Mars on Monday, the first powered flight on another planet. The triumph was hailed as a Wright brothers moment. Confirmation came via satellite at Mars, which relayed the chopper's data back to Earth. The mini 1.8 kg copter, named Ingenuity, carried a bit of wing fabric from the 1903 Wright Flyer, which made similar history at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The space agency is promising more adventurous flights in the days ahead. So that's it from us in this bulletin. But before I wrap up, an appeal once again to all our viewers: continue to maintain COVID-appropriate behavior. That is, remember to wear your face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and also ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you step outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes on our part to defeat the pandemic. Take care of yourselves and your families. Good night and thank you for your time.